Tuesday, August 15th, 2023. It is a meeting of the Berlin Board of Health being held via Zoom. Anyone who is either on the agenda or wishes to participate will be given that opportunity. The proceedings, whichever one seatings it is, are being taped so that they can be reviewed at any time by the general public or ourselves. And with that, we can begin 7 p.m. Discussion. Bill, do you want to take the lead on that, or?
Sure. We can talk about Berlin Liquors. I don't think anyone's going to be here tonight. Donna confirmed we received the $2,000 check. So tonight we have the tobacco sales permit on the agenda for approval. And if it is approved, it's on the desk for signature, Paul.
Right.
Do
So,
we need to vote on that, Bill?
does anybody have any issues with giving them the permit to restart selling tobacco products?
I don't, except for maybe next time, the fine, we might have to put a timeline on fines or something like that to.
Right,
keep us-
well, in the future, we'll probably view this a little bit differently, but for right now, it's really black and white. They paid the fine. Let's move on.
Paul, I
Okay.
think the next one is $5,000. So hopefully he won't
Oh,
won't be
really?
heading that way.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah, that'll stop it, yeah.
Now, do they
Well,
need to vote on this bill?
Well, it just has to be in the minutes that the fine was received and the tobacco sales permits approved for Paul's signature.
Okay,
Yeah,
I have no
I
problem.
think that's all we have to do.
I have no problem.
okay.
Sue?
I'm fine with it.
All right, we'll do that. All right,
While we're waiting for timed appointments, why don't we take Kate maybe on 39 Walnut Street, permit extension?
absolutely.
Okay,
Hello, I'm not sure you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Oh, perfect. Okay,
Can't
great.
see you, but we can hear you.
Yeah, and I don't know what to do about that, but anyhow, I spoke with Paul. We still don't have the conditions to install this system. The water table's high. The plan says actually that it cannot be stalled when conditions are such with a high water table. So I'm going to ask for an extension. I would like another year limit on this, just because I don't think, I mean, in the next 2 weeks isn't going to happen, or 3 weeks before he loses his help. That puts us pretty much into spring, as far as I know. And then obviously make sure we can get it in within that time.
Okay, Bill, correct me if I'm wrong. Kate, I believe what you need to do at this point is just submit a request for an extension in writing to the Board of Health, and that we would act on it at our next meeting.
and,
Oh,
and if there's any plan changes, you have to let Bill know, correct? Billy?
Well, she's asking
Yeah,
for an
the plan- the
extension,
plan-
so there's no shift in plans at this point, from my understanding.
Yeah, the plan's
Oh.
been revised and that revised plan is approved. So now it's the extension of the permit.
Okay,
Right.
that's okay. So that answers that. Okay.
I don't have a problem with the extension.
Yeah, like Paul
years?
said, though, something in writing for next meeting, and if you can put a date in
Just
that.
so that we have it
Right.
on record and it protects everybody's backside. Kate, are you fine with that?
of course, that's no problem at all.
Okay,
Um,
so we'd like to have that for our next meeting, just so that this doesn't get lost or languish anywhere. So just simple request to extend the permit based on plans submitted, blah, 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 to the Board of Health.
absolutely.
Yeah, next
Um,
meeting's September 5th.
Oh,
Okay, 7 PM
Yep,
and Zoom again.
I don't know.
Okay. Perfect. I'll get that over to Bill, correct? Or,
Yeah, get
Yeah,
it to the Board of
Get it
Health
to me
office, get
or
it to
the
Bill.
office.
okay, appreciate it.
Okay, once you're, your name, you kind of get on the agenda, I try really hard to send, if it's Zoom or if it's in person, I try to let everybody know.
Okay, excellent. I'll double check too. Actually, I was speaking with Bill today and I, in my mind, thought the meeting was tomorrow. So it was nice that he reminded me that I.
And you thought it was in person.
Yes, I did. I would have, yeah. Anyhow, I appreciate your time. I will do that and I will see you at the next meeting.
Very good.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
All right, good night.
Good night.
Title V inspection reports, Bill?
Yes, we have another one for Highland Ridge, which incorporates, additional units that weren't covered in the first Title V, and that is a pass,
Okay.
as is 172 River Road West.
Where is that, Billy? 172? It's just,
You got me.
me too. It passed anyway, right? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, there's really no reference on these Title V sketch as to where it's located, just the site information.
Yeah, and I don't got my, that's all right. I don't need it. Is it a pass? It passed, it
Yes.
passed.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
We got
this
3
is-
minutes.
this is outside of Bill's purview, but sometime one of the last 2 Wednesdays of this month, we're gonna have we're gonna schedule an unscheduled Board of Health meeting for the purposes of meeting with all the volunteers from the Take It or Leave It, probably as well as Stan at the transfer station. I don't think such a meeting has ever been held. We now have a couple new containers and some new storage possibilities. And it's probably just a good time to review what our procedures, protocols, rules, regulations, and so forth are, so that all the volunteers are in line. As everybody knows, we've had a shift in personnel down there. So whatever happened in the past happened. And we may continue along the same lines, but we need to find out whether that is really what's most appropriate. So we'll get together. I need to talk to 1 or 2 of the volunteers, and then I'll get back to Sue so that we can actually schedule a firm date. Where's my calendar? Excuse me. So it's probably going to be either Wednesday the 23rd or Wednesday the 30th, and it'll probably be at 6:30 in the morning. 6:30 in the evening.
I was gonna
Excuse
say.
me. Yeah, 6:30 in the morning. You'll start without me, trust me.
Yeah, me too.
That's a time in talking to several of the volunteers seem to be amenable. I just need to touch bases with, as I said, 1 or 2 individuals just to confirm what they thought was the better of the 2 dates. So everybody will get informed on that in the very near future.
Okay, do I need to do that for minutes?
It probably would be a good idea, Donna.
Okay. I can do that.
I don't know if there'll be any earth-shaking changes, but when you deal with volunteers and you meld them with existing municipal operations, I think things need to be recorded and delineated properly.
So
And
is Wednesday, what date, Paul? 2 dates maybe, or
It's
whatever?
either Wednesday the 23rd or Wednesday the 30th.
Okay,
And Donna,
no,
we're gonna need to schedule a conference room for that.
So it's an in-person?
Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, it will be in person.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it's gonna be at the transfer or. in
No,
person.
no,
Yeah.
no need to have it at the transfer.
Right, yeah,
Right.
as soon as I have the
Oh,
date. I'll-
yeah.
Less mosquitoes in the municipal
Oh,
building.
gosh. yeah.
There you
All
go.
right, it is 7:15 and we have a bunch of people in the audience.
Okay,
I'm sure want to talk about Woodward Ave.
for Woodward Ave. Let us begin.
Okay.
Okay, well, don't look at me.
Well, I'm kind of gonna leave the floor open to Woodward Ave representatives and
Dan.
let them begin. Evening, June. Hi, Dan.
Good evening.
Barry.
Evening.
How are
Hi,
you?
everybody.
Don't see Barry, but
I haven't come up
he's
yet.
on there.
Yeah, I brought everybody up.
Just start video.
Oh, Barry just.
You're-
wait.
Got his
You're on,
hand up.
Barry. You just gotta start video, Barry.
I haven't seen it, so.
Hold
You're
on.
on.
Let me
just
Okay,
keep-
can you hear me?
show you.
We can hear you.
Yes.
Well, that's good enough. Oh,
Just
there we
can't
go.
see ya.
That'll
All
work.
righty.
There's a little button up in the corner sometimes. I'm not sure where it is on your computer. Now we lost you, Barry.
No, it's usually goes through that transition.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so
Yeah, oh, there he is. Okay.
there he is.
Barry.
We moved around, yeah. Lynn Ryan and I don't know who else is involved with this. Yep.
Well, why don't we do with the normal and start with Bill? The
Um,
septic system flow.
Yeah, we've been asked to take a peek at this Bullet House, existing residence, proposed use as a museum. It has passed a Title V inspection. It's got a 440 gallon a day design flow because it was considered a 4-bedroom dwelling on a previous permit. Dan Wolf and I sat down and looked at, what type of flow we could apply to a use like that. And if we use public park, that's 5 gallons a day per person. So with that 440, that would allow 88 people. We've got a recent letter here from the building inspector that says the occupancy for that building and the museum use would be, looks like 32 occupants plus 1 for the office. So that might be 33 total. So that might be the number that we're going to use, even though the septic could probably handle more. So, we'll discuss, how the board feels about that flow. And we also need to discuss, the existing septic tank. Title V requires something other than a single family residence, which a museum would be considered to have a 2-compartment tank or 2 tanks in series. And right now we've got a single compartment tank there as far as we know. So those are the items really up for discussion. I don't know if there's anything else anyone wants to add. We also need a very clear written description of the proposed use there, because again, there was talk of, a sink, a dishwasher, making coffee and tea. So, things like that wouldn't be allowed necessarily with that system in that well.
The well is connected to the town hall. The water supply is off the town hall well.
Right, but it's a private well. It's not a public water supply, so it can't be
That's
used to
correct.
serve the public.
Oh, okay.
And if I could just add to Bill's comments, when we sat down, Title V doesn't necessarily list museum as one of the example uses. So we were bouncing between what is called a function hall and, as Bill already mentioned, a public park, where a function hall would obviously have a higher loading, but that doesn't directly apply to the use that's being proposed here. So it's actually the building commissioner's letter that really puts the limitations on the building as a maximum occupancy of 33, and that fits in with either scenario out of Title V loading. So I think in terms of the size of the septic system, everything's fine, with the exception of, as Bill just mentioned, the 2-compartment tank.
Okay. Would the well being Town Hall too, is that a certified well already, Billy, as a public water supply, or
No,
it is not? Okay.
My dog's barking. I was muted. No, it's not. It's not considered, its proposed use might head in that direction, but that's something that the state would get involved in as to whether or not it could be approved as a
It's not
pre-existing non-conforming. But,
Yeah,
the use of
I
the
mean-
town, when it was town hall, there
Right.
wasn't the number of people there that would trigger the need for a public water supply.
So it's not pre-existing non-conforming, or we would have to figure that out.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever been considered a public water supply,
no,
so
no.
Okay, all right. Yep. Thank you.
On the Title V, Bill, I don't know if you recall, I don't recall seeing that, or maybe I didn't look at it. But
Yeah, it was a
is
few
that
meetings ago.
is there actually a leach field there, or is it a leach pit, or
it's a leach bed.
it's a leach bed?
Um, Yeah, there's that driveway there between 3 Linden and 4 Woodward actually contains 2 beds lying very close to each other. One serving 3 Linden, one serving 4 Woodwards. The plan actually shows 4 Woodwards over the lot line, but again, it's kind of a pre-existing kind of respected situation, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so it's a
that's
tank and a
actually-
leach bed.
And Paul, the day it was inspected by Paul Wheeler, we had been asked to kind of prepare a comprehensive site plan showing where all these components were. So
Okay.
I physically went out there, saw the exposed system, saw the exposed tank and D-box. And certainly there is a legitimate Title V system there.
Oh, okay, very
Yeah.
good to know.
Yeah. That wasn't installed very long ago, correct?
It was 1990.
1991.
I guess it is now. Yeah.
1991,
Wasn't,
yep.
it wasn't yesterday, Bobby.
No, I just seems it to me.
In terms of occupancy, that number does not represent a total for a day. That's, I'm assuming, kind of an ongoing fluctuating number.
I think it's at one time would be my
At
impression. We
any
could ask-
one time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that would be my understanding, sure.
Okay.
We would anticipate that the use of it would be, it's occasional, it's not constant.
Right, right,
Maybe you'd have 3 or 4 people in there 3 times a week, but you might have 7 or 10 one day a week. And then once in a while, you might have an event that you actually would have 20 or 30 people there for, but that would be a matter of once or twice in a year.
certainly, yeah. No, I would see how that would track.
So we
Mhm.
have
My-
flow, but it sounds like we have to discuss the need for a 2-compartment tank. Correct?
If that is the requirement, yes, I'm gonna bounce to you, Dan. And you may or may not be able to answer this. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but where you did observe things that were uncovered, from a practical standpoint, is getting a 2-compartment tank in there a viable proposition?
It would
And
be,
if you can't answer that, I understand.
yeah, it would be a tough proposition from the standpoint that you've got the hillside coming down from the upper parking lot to the building, and the septic tank is currently right there at the corner of the building. So it's a tight spot. But could it be done? I'm sure it could be, but it's not gonna be a walk in the park either.
Okay, between you and Bill, what is the scientific, I'll call it, advantage or benefit of having a 2-compartment tank there?
Well, I'll
Better
start
settling,
here.
better separation.
Yeah,
Would
Certainly better.
more frequent pumping be an alternative that might accomplish that? Not, it wouldn't accomplish the settling and so forth, I understand, but in terms of preventive maintenance on the system, and that's fundamentally the direction we'd be going in with a 2-part compartment tank, is increasing the longevity of the existing system by having better separation of solids and fluids and so forth.
It would help. I don't know if it would provide the same protection. Dan, having not being on site, could a 1,000-gallon tank be installed prior to the existing tank? Do you think there's space for that? I know we'd be looking at an offset reduction to foundation, but I didn't know if space-wise that would be a possibility.
yeah. Again, it's a tight spot because the pipe coming out of the back of the building is very close to the inlet to that first tank. So it would be a matter of having a maze of piping going out, turning left, turning